Oh wait, I'm going live on StreamYard too. And we're live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Today in Quarantine. I'm your host, Renae Cross. Today I'm joined by
Guadalupe.
Yeah, and we're here in the beautiful city of Lincoln, Nebraska, where the grass is only green from March to October.
That's a long time.
It is a pretty long time.
But not all the grass is green. Some of it is golden.
It's true.
Especially in July and August.
Yeah, did you notice that for some reason, like in the middle of Union's campus, like
it's like
grass is like
it's like
dead.
They're growing wheat, golden wheat on that grass. Yeah, it's pretty dead. It's really. I did notice that yesterday when I was riding my bicycle through it.
Yeah, it was super weird. I just rode through and I was like, everything's green, and then boom, it's not.
Yeah,
in the middle of campus. But today we're excited because it is Monday, June 29th, which is crazy. We're in the end of June already. And this is episode 100. This is absolutely wild. 100 episodes of Today in Quarantine. We've only not had Today in Quarantine, I think, like 2 or 3 times.
Wow, that's the whole time. Really good.
Yeah, it's the longest thing I've committed to in a long time.
Besides, like, elementary, middle school, high school,
besides
college.
the thing that I had to go to. This is like the volunteer thing that I've mostly committed to. Yeah. So
I think one of the things that we want to share with you today, it comes from the very depths of our experience during quarantine. And I'm sure it could be very different. Hello. Hi, Andrew. Very different for everyone. So today, Renae and I are going to share with you the top 3 things we learned while in quarantine.
Here we go. Number 3. Number 3. We'll work up backwards from here.
Sure.
Number 3. What's your number 3 there?
I think my number 3 that I learned about quarantine is that I needed to be home. I was so busy in and out meeting with people that I forgot to enjoy home. And being with my kids and being with my husband. I don't even know what that is. I usually only see my husband on the weekends because I'm always working at night, and that's when he's home. So it was just really not, that was still kind of the case because he still worked during quarantine, but to be with the kids. So that's what I've learned, and that I needed to be home to learn to love it again.
Right. Nice. Yeah. I definitely, I understand that feeling, but I don't quite relate to it. Number 3 for me is that the way you waste your time outside of quarantine is still the way you waste your time inside of quarantine.
Tell us more.
There's not much difference in before, if you were spending your time on Netflix and that's how you wasted your time, that's how you wasted your time. For me, it's like social media. It's like the constant scroll, which everybody else is also doing right now.
Yes,
so
they're all going to have arthritis right here.
Right here. No more opposable thumbs for the human race after this. We've evolved out of it. No, but yeah, that's definitely one of the things I've learned is that all the things that you think that, I'll improve on this during quarantine. Like, what did I actually improve on during quarantine?
You did some things.
I did. I did some things, but I didn't set any goals. So, yeah.
And that's okay. It's okay if you didn't set any goals during quarantine, because it is a worldwide pandemic and people were losing their jobs, and then we had the rest of the stuff happening. So it's okay that you didn't have goals particularly for this time.
Yeah, no, that's okay. So there you go. That's my number 3. Number 2.
My number 2 was that I needed to set goals because, and I mean like everyday goals. Like if I can have 3 goals and have completed them, like I felt like the period of my awakeness was not in vain. Mostly because I'm an extrovert, and if I have nothing to do, I go crazy. Like on serious levels, though, you don't even understand. We can have this conversation with my husband, and he can tell you about how I am, to some ways, the Energizer Bunny. Although I am like the bunny, but without the energy, but I still do the things. So that's how we differ a little bit. Duracell, yeah, but like the dollar store version. So what was it? What did I say I needed? Oh, that I needed
Goals.
goals. Yes, that I needed goals, and I accomplished goals. And two of those goals were gardening.
There you go.
If you follow me on IG, which you should at Guadalupe_Montour, you would see that I love my garden. It's the first time I've ever planted something in the ground and had things come up. So,
Nice.
I mean, that was an accomplishment.
It is a pretty impressive garden, I must say.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
Thank you. And the second thing was not cucumber, riding a bicycle. I don't know why, I was thinking about my garden. So the two things that I set my goal to do, which I did accomplish, was my garden and bicycling.
There you go. Yeah. We actually went biking last night. That was fun. Let's see. My number 2 is let's see. That biking is a very efficient way to do things, like to get around to places, and yeah, I've definitely enjoyed biking a lot more. It's definitely going to become part of my regular life now because it's just, it's a good way to exercise. And since I live very close to a lot of the things that I regularly have to go to, it's pretty efficient to do. Yeah. And then from the lesson out of biking, I also try and be the most efficient in biking and park in a certain spot so I don't have to pedal back up a hill or go the long way or something. But it doesn't work out that way, and sometimes I just need to bite the bullet and do the thing.
And bike up that hill.
It's usually better that way. My mom says we are proud of our garden and proud of your gardens too.
Woo, that's
Thanks,
right.
Mom.
She has a garden too.
Yes.
You need to follow her on IG to see her garden too, right? Your garden's online, right?
I haven't actually put it online.
I don't even.
I don't know. I was a little bit scared that nothing would happen to it, so it's I'm not gonna post anything.
There's no before pictures, but she should definitely put up her after pictures because they're amazing.
Maybe I'll do a post later today. So yeah, and number 1 thing that we've learned from quarantine.
The number 1 thing I've learned in quarantine, honestly, is that you have to know what you understand, right? We were talking about this earlier. The CDC was kind of back and forth on some things, not because they're not geniuses back there, but because they only know what they know. And they didn't know coronavirus. So they were just as confused and lost. And it was very evident through the things that was coming out of there. So you had to do your own research. And I realized that I had to come to my own conclusions about things. And I had to be careful not to get caught up in the conspiracy theorists. And, but what is the truth? What is the fact? What is the truth? And how am I going to be accountable to myself to live up to what I believe is right? Understanding that I don't live for myself. Okay, so let's remember that it's not just this self-serving knowledge that's only good for me. The knowledge that I come to conclusion on was beneficial to me and everyone around me. That's kind of and I think that kind of just feeds into my spirituality too. You're gonna hear. I mean, everyone during Jesus's time, there was so many people. I'm the Messiah. And then you had to compare what they were saying to what was already shown through the Torah. So that's also how that fed into my spiritual life. But yeah, you have to be accountable for your own knowledge, and don't just sit there and believe what everyone is saying. So.
Nice. Kind of off the same topic, my number 1 is very similar to that one. It's the opinions of other people and their ideas are not your ideas, and you have to form your own conclusions. Essentially, what you were saying. But I have a big tendency to kind of collect other people's opinions and then kind of make an amalgamation of all their opinions and put together all the sides and make this giant sphere of good intent. But sometimes you just have to be no, that's just not true, and just figure out what's actually true. So that's definitely one of the big takeaways that I've taken, not only from quarantine, but also from the protests and riots and just everybody standing up for racial equality and justice. So that's definitely one of the things that I've taken away. And in working with schools and stuff, and just sometimes I just kind of sit there and listen to other people's opinions, but sometimes you just have to say what you believe in and say what it is.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, that's really good. I want to piggyback off of that. I think that's good. So this is my 1A. I work in bullet points, so if you know me, you'll understand that fits me. I think my 1A in that is just kind of what you're saying. Like, once you know what you think, once you come to your own conclusion, you also have to be bold enough and courageous enough, and you have to count the cost, because there's a cost to every decision that you make, and not just with racial injustice and oppression, because there's a cost to that too. There's a cost to everybody, regardless of what side you stand on, right? And that's another discussion, right? I don't stand on a political side. I stand on, what does Scripture tell me? What can I discern from the life and the experiences that Jesus lived through and by? So, yeah, I like that. You have to be bold. You have to be courageous. You can't stand silently by. I think there's a period of that. I think there's a learning period, where you question, and that's when you're doing your analyzations and your assessments, coming to your conclusions. But there is an opportunity, and there has to be a time where you are not quiet anymore, and then you have to stand behind it in boldness and in truth, confidently, no matter what may come, and no matter who may come at you for it.
Yeah. So that's definitely things to think about. Mom says, discernment of truth, separating fact from opinion. Yes, that's life.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then to determine how to react. What should or could I do? What would Jesus do? Yeah, it's definitely questions that should be running through our minds.
Yes,
a lot as time goes on. Because these are crazy times we're living in. I mean, as that's one of the other just like number zero is that I've learned is like people can't find people can't find another way to say this is crazy. And there's like, this is crazy. We've never been through this before. These are unprecedented times. We just haven't, we need a thesaurus on
in these unprecedented times. I think I heard that a bazillion times.
Literally. In every email.
Yes.
Every newsletter.
Yep, newsletter.
I was actually thinking about it, and like in the future, they're gonna look at our archaeologists are gonna be like digging through they're probably gonna be digging through our computer files and not like digging through the ground. They're like, oh, what are these times everybody's talking about? Like nobody's actually saying in the time of the novel coronavirus.
It's true.
Everybody's like in these times, and we're like, what times? What are we talking about? Call it out. Say what it is. Andrew asked the question, are the birds charged now? Have you seen or heard birds this month? Yes.
What? Like literal birds?
Yeah, I think he's asking about literal birds. They're talking about the pigeons. They have re-released the pigeons out into the city. The government's eyes are back on us, everybody. Just kidding.
My goodness.
The government's eyes have been on me for the past 100 days. It's fine. Hello, FBI agent. Hope you've enjoyed.
This is when I leave.
Yeah. But yes, I did see some birds.
Andrew, sticky, what's that? Troons? Sticky troons. And Andrew, what is the one thing that you've learned during quarantine? I want to see it in your responses. What have you learned, right? I mean, if we let these 100 days, it was a 100 days of TIQ, but I mean, quarantine has lasted way longer in other places than I guess here. What have you guys learned? Now that we're kind of on the other side, sort of under others. We're in this place of we don't know what to do, so we're just gonna do what we want.
I feel like if we're like going up a hill and you like think you're getting to the top, and you just keep seeing the top, and you're like, yes, I'm almost there, and then you get to the top, and you're like, I'm not here, but I still have to keep going.
It's like the Pinocchio mountain, right? Like you think you're getting close, but the mountain just keeps growing. No, I'm almost there. It
actually happened. Well, not the mountain growing, but like that was in Bryce Canyon in Utah.
Okay.
And they have like these switchbacks. So to like walk up and down the canyon walls, you have to like zigzag up the side of the canyon. So it was terrible getting back up. But you just like keep going up, and you think you see like the top of the canyon, but then it's not. And like 6 switchbacks later, it's still not.
That's terrible.
I'm still there right now.
So Renae, now that we're on this other side of quarantine, and I say other side loosely, what do you plan to do during your 4 o'clock hour every day now?
I don't know. I'm excited to. It's not that like this has been like a hindrance in my life, but it has definitely been like something that's like kind of locked me down into like a routine. So I'm excited to like take a day-long trip and like go somewhere with my bike or something, like that. Definitely.
Do you have a place in mind? Where are you going on this day-long trip?
I don't know. Maybe I'll go to. I went to Mahoney State Park a couple days ago, and I didn't bring my bike, so I was like, maybe I'll bring my bike up there, or bike through Omaha, or just find a state park and ride around somewhere. I don't know yet.
You know what I want to do? I want to go and pick raspberries. Does anyone know if there's raspberries in Nebraska? Please. I want to pick raspberries, blackberries, blueberries, all kind of berries. Do you know that today? This is not right. This is what I also learned about nature, that nature don't care about you. Okay? My strawberry patch, I had 2 beautiful strawberries this morning. I saw them. I said, I'm going to pick them. And then I went inside, and I came back an hour later, and they were gone. They were gone. Animals don't care. These squirrels. And you know, the squirrels were never quarantined, so they just live their own life.
They really do, without regard for anybody else, including other squirrels. All right, so my mom says she's learned about technology and how to use Zoom.
That's great.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, same.
Yeah,
I'm a Zoom expert now.
She really is. I'm still not a Zoom expert because I just relied on her. But I think it really did do good for a lot of generations.
Yeah.
You know, my kids, the older generation, my generation, like everyone's just like, yeah, we can have meetings over the internet. I don't need to drive the 300 miles, you know?
I think it's going to be like a really cool thing to see how people use it in the future. Because like you said, yeah, I don't need to drive 300 miles. I don't really need to drive 3 miles.
That's true.
To have a meeting. So why do I need to do that, you know?
It's Triumph
447 says, so much enjoyed the series. You brought a lot of joy and consistency to our days by this. We're all addicted to dad jokes now. Aw.
It's true. It's true. I never had a love for dad jokes the way I do now. She is just an expert. Every time we say a dad joke, or my husband says a dad joke, very naturally. It just comes naturally to him because he's a dad. We think about Renae.
Oh,
Renae, what do you got for us today?
Oh, man. Well, you know, when a dad joke becomes a dad joke, when it becomes a parent. Oh, man. I've got some of my favorite jokes on deck for you today. And if I'm the only one laughing, that's still all right. That's what makes it an even better dad joke. Yes. All right. Hey, what's the best thing about Switzerland?
I don't know.
I don't know either, but the flag is a big plus.
That's good. I like that one.
Oh, man.
There's also the Swiss Alps, just to say.
That's fair. They do have pretty nice mountains there.
I've only seen it on YouTube and through ID pictures, but I hear it's nice.
I've heard the same thing, so it must be true.
I believe it.
Did you hear about the mathematician who was afraid of negative numbers?
No, I haven't.
He'll stop at nothing to avoid them. It's nothing is 0. It's all right. It's okay. Oh, let's see. What else do we got here? Oh, hey, I can do knock-knock jokes.
Okay,
all
yes.
right, knock-knock.
Who's there?
Control freak.
Control freak who?
Okay, now you say control freak who? It's bad delivery. That was my bad.
Okay.
Did you hear about the new restaurant called Karma?
No, I haven't.
You get what you deserve.
She really likes them, so I mean that in itself brings me joy.
Oh boy. Some COVID-19 jokes for you.
All right. Do it.
Lego stores are finally reopening in the midst of COVID-19, and I don't know, just people are lined up for blocks.
That was a good one, though. I really did enjoy that. I could see that.
Yeah.
Lined up for blocks.
Yeah.
And they're actually standing on blocks, but they also want to receive blocks. It's a whole just dimension in that joke.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a good joke because it is multi-dimensional.
Yeah.
You can enjoy it in different levels. You could probably enjoy it in different languages too. There's some jokes like that.
You think so?
Yeah.
Are you going to share another language joke with
Yeah,
us?
let's see. So where do cats go after they die? This is not SDA approved. Where do cats go after they die?
Cat heaven.
Purgatorio, which also works in Spanish. ¿A dónde van los gatos cuando se mueren? Purgatorio. Gato, get it?
Ladies and gentlemen, I mean, you got to give it. I got to give you some credit.
Thank you.
2 languages, a dad joke in 2 languages.
It actually works in like Italian and French
I can see that. Yeah, they're very
Portuguese as well.
Yeah. I'd rather hear it in French. I want to hear what that sounds like.
You're out of luck.
I thought we were gonna.
I could try, but I'm really bad at French, and I can't remember what it sounds like.
So we figured you got one more for us.
All right, one more. Here we go. Let's see. All right, hold on. Why can't you trust an atom? An atom, ATOM.
Why?
Because they make up everything. Oh boy. Well, thank you everybody for joining us on our last episode of Today in Quarantine. Man, I can't even say like my usual outro because they won't see me tomorrow, so that's kind of sad. But hey, you can go back and watch all of our episodes here on YouTube if you're ever missing some dad jokes. If you're ever like, what was that joke? Just
there's only 100 to sort through. So,
yeah, so you can. Good luck. That's what all I'm gonna
That's
say.
all that is.
But thank you so much for joining me in the past 100 days. It's been a pleasure to host this show, and who knows, maybe we'll do a special episode once in a while or something like that.
Follow up, like 30 days after quarantine.
Yeah, where are they now?
Yes.
There we go.
And you'll find us right here.
Right here. In Lincoln, Nebraska, where the corn's being husked.
Lincoln, Nebraska, in the middle of everything.
It's true.
It's a new slogan at Union.
Oh, really?
Shirts, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
I think it's in the middle of everywhere. But the shirts are really nice. They have the super soft T-shirt.
Oh, yeah.
They just kind of like fall on you, like satin sleepwear.
They're very comfortable.
They are really comfortable.
But yeah, or Nebraska's official slogan actually. It's Nebraska. It's not for everyone.
Is it an official slogan? I haven't seen it changed anywhere.
Well, I guess they didn't have the money. They changed it, and they're like, we don't have the money to update signs. So
not for everyone. That seems a little offensive.
But
I'm just kidding. No, I'm kidding. It was a joke. It's not offensive. I loved it. I thought it was great advertisement because it got everybody on the show. Even not Regis and Kathy Lee. That was the old name of it. The Regis and Kathy Lee show, which is now
Regis and Kelly?
Not even Regis anymore. Whoever in Kelly is there now. Ryan and Kelly.
Oh, it is Ryan.
Yeah, it was even highlighted on their show when it first came out.
They're famous. Don't say so stuff.
Finally, Nebraska gets noticed for
something. Anyway, thank you guys for joining us over the past 100 episodes, and we'll see you next time in quarantine.
I hope never. I hope we never see each other in quarantine again.
Yeah.
I hope we see each other in other ways, but definitely not in quarantine.
Yeah. But have a great day, everybody, and keep in touch. See ya. Bye.